After listening to that beautiful build-up of myself, I can't wait to hear myself speak. I wrote, like Rabbi said, and like Isaac also mentioned, and Michael, that a Rav in the community has to serve both simchis and unfortunately in time of tragedy. And I had a Melaveh funeral a number of years ago. It was a politician, a public servant with a very tainted reputation. He didn't have a shem toiv. So I had to struggle to find something positive to say about him. After the Rabbi, after my hesped, my eulogy, his almond, his widow came over to me. She said to Rabbi, you know, if my Jack had known there was going to be such a big turnout, and you were going to say so many complimentary things about him, believe me, he would have died years ago. The ingenuity, the initiative of those that came from foreign soil, were born and raised there, with fathers and mothers, Bobis, Zaydis, Elter Zaydis, and they came to a strange land, and they became so established and respected, is something, nothing short of miraculous. My father, Zechariah Bracha, who left this world at a very young age of 36, was a Russian immigrant himself. My mother was born here in this country. Her mother, my Baba Yoshevet, was born here as well. And when he arrived here, he had to fill out a questionnaire about his arrival, where he came from. So when he arrived in February, but being a Russian citizen, he couldn't spell February, so he wrote May. So the ingenuity of it, and my friends, why is this night different? Because under this roof is gathered not only those that we love, but those that love us. And those that always bench us and bless us. Shabbos Yeshua Chaskeu Gamteu. They're giving us their bracha to encourage us, strengthen us, give us resolve to continue building Torah. And with that, to raise a generation of Kol B'naich Limud Hashem. They'll all be learned of Torah, and God-fearing. And that way, they'll greet Mashiach. Thank you, thank you, thank you. There are those that are on the scene, and there are those that are behind the scene. And there's a young lady who so many wanderers come knocking on her door. They need lodging, they're hungry, they're tired, they're thirsty. She prepares a warm meal for them. She offers them warmth, fruit, and friendship. Her night goes into the day, her day goes into the night, and they don't leave until they're completely satisfied. And her motto is the words of the Peleiois, a poem that has 11 words. Helovar Ayit, Heosid Adayit, Haoize Keheref Ayit, Im kein daigo minai. The past is gone, is finished. The future is not here yet. The present disappears in a fleeting moment. So why should we worry? And this is the motto of my Rebbe. She's a hero, and we salute her tonight. There's a gentleman who is responsible. He and his son and his entire company are responsible for all of these magnificent lighting that's here. He spends a full day and a half with his whole staff to make sure that the lighting is proper. And that's our dear friend, Rabbi Gladstein, his son from the Zalman. Please give them a big hand. Follow the words of Michael and Reb David and Isaac. And all of that adds up to Mesiras Nefesh and sacrifice. It's a struggle with sacrifice and left scars. And this is how this beautiful item of Karpati Shid, that's how it grew up. And there were two Jews who met after the war. A Carpathian, a Carpathian Yid, and a Romanian Jew. And the Romanian Jew, it was after Sukkot. And the Romanian Jew said to the Russian Yid, he said, "Oh, my Sukkot, I covered it with such fragrant flowers." He mentioned all the different varieties, and it smelled so magnificent in my sukkah. And he turned to the Russian Yid. He said to him, "What did you cover your sukkah with?" He said, "I'll tell you what I covered my sukkah with." He said, "The communists, the Bolsheviks, they caught me making a sukkah, and they sent me to Siberia for 10 years. I covered it with sacrifice and Mesiras Nefesh." The Mesiras Nefesh, sacrifice is something that's how we all grew up. And there was the Holocaust, and especially shown this souls of fire that withstood all of that agony and torture, where they made them subhuman beings. And there was a young couple, and he was a Rabbi in the yeshiva, and she was a teacher in the English department in Germany. And she's still here today. She's 94 years old. She bought herself a new car. At 94 years old, she bought herself a new car. When she went to the motor vehicle bureau, a shnekel there looked at her at the application. She saw her age. She says, "You know, in 5 years around, it has to be renewed again. Who's going to renew it?" She said, "I'm going to renew it." 90%. And then rationing began, and Jews were permitted only 4 eggs a week, 1 quart of milk a week, a pound of bread a week, no butter. Many necessity staples were denied. Her husband was at work in yeshiva teaching Friday, and she was using the 4 eggs a month. She was using one of the eggs to make a special delicacy, the covered Shabbos, to make a cake. She cracks open the egg. It has a blood spot. What should she do? She looks at the egg. Should she throw the egg out and take next week's egg, a dilemma, take next week's egg and make a cake for this week? Or should she maybe Men don't know their way around the kitchen. My husband, he trusts me. So maybe I'll take it out, wipe off the blood spot, and if there's any, and there was no Rabbanim, the Rabbanim were all taken away right to the gas chambers. There was no one to ask a shayla. So, if I don't make a cake, if I don't use next week's egg, who knows if I'll be alive by next week? I won't be here either, maybe. Maybe I'll take it, I'll wipe off the blood spot. My husband won't know the difference, he trusts me. I'll make the cake with this egg. Then I thought to myself, but there's Rabbi Shul, he trusts me. No, I can't do it. She took me, she threw the egg out, wiped out the bowl, took it, next week's egg, cracked it open, and out came a twin yolk. Sometimes, she said, these are her words, sometimes the Rabbi Shul sends you a small message, but it looms very large. Said, you are my daughter, and you I can trust. You're my daughter, and you I can trust. Many come over to me, and they said to me, Rabbi, I said, you know, it's time to retire. It's enough already. But you're not 35, 40 years old. Shem, you know, my Rebbe said, look, she went for jury duty. And the district attorney and the attorney for the defendant were questioning the prospective jurors to see if they'll be favorable for their client. So the district attorney addresses one of the jurors. He says to Mr. Johnson, he says, on your questionnaire, you write you're retired. What did you do before you retired? He says, I worked. I believe that I did work. I'm still working. And as far as retiring, the Chavetz Chaim Zechron Levracha, that Dr. Kreisman mentioned so beautifully. In his elder years, he had a tremendous arichas yamim. He was blessed, gebenched. And he would sit and learn and fall asleep learning. He would wake himself up and continue learning. His family said to him, please, you know, go to sleep already. You're not a youngster. He says, you want me to go to sleep? He says, you know, it won't be long. He said, before I'm going to sleep, I'll sleep more than I had to sleep. While I'm here, I have so much to do, I can only do it here, nowhere else. There's a lot to be done yet. And we met here, a Yiddi comes to daven every Shabbos, a Rosh Yid. And this message should be streamed from the rooftops. A man who was beaten because he wanted to be a Yid in Russia. He hollers out, Yiddishkeit forever! Yiddishkeit forever! In the name, the legendary name, Hanina ben Chaja, who, under the brutal Romans, he was from the 10 martyrs, the Asura Rugi Malchus. The Romans, in their brutality, they took him and wrapped him in a Torah scroll. And then they put twigs around him to enlighten him, and to extend his suffering, they put wet wool. His daughter was standing there, and he said, "Oh, Tati, my dear father, woe unto me that I have to see you like this. He responded, he said, if I am being burned, not alone, but for the Torah itself, the one that's going to avenge the honor of the Torah will avenge me also. But had I been burned alone, then we'd have it to worry about. And Meruba, many fold is the reward for Mita Taiva, for someone who accomplishes and goes forward to do something positive. Many more than those that disobey. There's definitely waiting for all of us that stood with us and work with us together to make sure that the light of Torah should never be extinguished in this community. Thank you very much for coming here, for supporting us, for singing us. We'll all be here to beat Mashiach in hair of your maiden.